Hello all, welcome back to Puzzle Street Ladder. Today we continue our journey. We've reached 60 so far, and we're currently at the rating of 2135 for this puzzle. So let us begin. Um, hmm. So this one I noticed that the pawn is about to fold the rook and the queen. All we need is this pawn out of the way, and I believe the way to get rid of that pawn out of the e file is to take the knight, and after e takes d4, we push e7. After that, we're forking the queen and the rook. Um, the only problem, I guess, is if the queen actually moves forward, then we take the rook, but that's not going to be enough. Hmm. There, we're just winning a rook and a knight for the queen. Ah, the answer is to first push the pawn. Yep, I get it. Push pawn first, and queen has to take in this instance, because if they don't take, we can't afford it. We take the rook then, and our queen is still here. So we first push the pawn. After queen takes, we take the knight, and if they take back, we take the queen, and the result is we're up piece for the pawn. I think that is the correct answer. I don't see anything else here. Pushing the pawn, moving the bishop doesn't really help us. Yeah, I don't see anything else. I'm just going to play it. That is correct. Now we just take the knight. Okay, an endgame puzzle. So king takes pawn suggests itself over here, but I think that's actually might be wrong because king here, pawn push, king here, pawn push, and I guess we are getting there in time. I don't think it's pawn push first because then king here, if we take pawn, I think king here wins. So I believe we need to take pawn first, and after um, king d4, king d or king d5, um, I believe we get out of the way of the a file, and then we just push our pawn forward. That's what makes the most sense to me because if I take here immediately, I don't think there's any way for the white king to restrict the black king to the a file. It's just too far away. I think I'm just going to play it. Okay. Now he tries to push his king forward, and now the important idea is that we block the king out of the c file, so that we can push this pawn safely. So there we go, and we continue blocking. Okay, white to play. Um, in pushing the pawn just seems correct. I don't really see the issue with that. But I think there is a checkmate idea here because rook here check, king here is the only move, and then we push this forward to h7, and if the bishop takes, um, oh wait, that doesn't, yeah, that doesn't work. Rook takes, and then the king steps back out. Okay, so I believe we have to push the pawn first. Pushing the pawn first, he's gonna try and get behind it. What do we do then? Okay. Maybe we do need to give check first, because king here and then we push the pawn forward. I think should be winning at that point because the rook then can't block. He needs to give up his bishop. After which we take with check, and then we go back to d7, protecting this this promotion. And the good thing is the rook can never give checks like this, um, because pawn on f2 blocks anything. And the king is in such a position where it's directly in front of f2. So going to the e file or going to the g file is going to help. Yeah, I think that is the correct answer. I think we do need to give check first. We're just going to play that. Now we push, now we take. Yep, all right. 63, 2175. Another endgame puzzle. So here, um, really the only two moves that make sense is king to f4, king to h4. I think one of them must be the correct answer. So king to f4 looks more promising because we're going to e5 and then attacking d5. So king to f4, what will be black's response? He can try and seize the opposition with king f6. What do we do there? I don't see a good way to respond to that. What about king h4 then? King h4 is, I think, correct because the the black king can't stop the white king from coming to h5 on the next move. I think that must be correct. Yeah, because king h4, even if he pushes the pawn, we take the our pawn, and I think that should be winning even in that case. King f4, king f6 just dampens white's march towards the center. So that can't be the answer. King h4 comes with the added bonus of threatening king h5. So um, just to demonstrate it a bit, king to h4. If the king steps to f6, then king to h5, king to g7 to protect pawn, and then g5 takes, and this king is never going to be able to defend d5 once it's on g7 and our king is on g5 because we can march over pretty like quickly and the black king is going to be forced to follow and he's going to have to keep a one rank space between himself and the white king at all times. So I believe that is the correct answer. I'm just going to play it. Okay, now we can play this and we push the pawn and we win. Okay, um, almost at 65. Let's keep it going. So this one, there's a lot of stuff going on here on towards Black's King. So I believe knight here. Okay, I played that completely by mistake, but it is the correct answer because I had looked at it a bit while I was staring at the puzzle. Okay, knight here is winning because you're threatening this as well as this, and taking the pawn here is not going to help white because we just step away and white has no more follow-up checks. So kind of lucked out of this puzzle, but it's whatever, I'll take it. Knight here, I think, suggests itself. Yeah, knight there should win. Just making sure there's no other options. Yeah, I think that's it. And here, I believe we just promote. Is there anything else that black has? I don't think so. There's knight here, I guess, threatening this, but like, mm, I believe knight here, then there's rook here. So I think we have to promote. Now we take with the knight, obviously. Just taking with rook, we'll just hang the knight. So yes, there we go. All right. Rate 65 at a rating of 2147. And yes, I'll see you in the next video.